Hello, everyone. Happy Monday, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining Natasha and I for another Medical Billing and Coding YouTube Live. Today, we're here to specifically discuss education and employment, to help you jumpstart your careers, but we are happy to answer all questions. So feel free to leave in the chat your comments, your questions, and we will definitely get to them shortly. So let's get started. We're going to start with some brief introductions for those of you who are possibly new to us and our platforms, and then we will get started. So my name is Kiana Craig. I am based in New York. I am a medical billing expert. I have 24 years of experience in the healthcare industry, specifically working on the revenue cycle. I am the owner and founder of Express Medical Billing and Consulting that I started in 2008, as well as the owner and founder of Ask the Biller, which is my medical billing certification training and certification exam prep and training company that I founded in 2000. So that focuses on helping students to prepare and pass their certification exam and providing the hands-on training that they need to secure opportunities. So Natasha, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on tonight. We are so excited to have and to speak with you on tonight. So I am Natasha C. Miller, also known as the Medical Mompreneur, and I am the founder and CEO of NCM Healthcare. We've been in business now over 11 years. I've been in healthcare over 23 years. And so one of the things we do with NCM Healthcare is we provide consulting services, medical coding consulting services, training, as well as we help prepare you for the CPC certification exam. And we will be offering some additional exam prep courses as well. And then also with the Medical Mompreneur, we offer our coaching programs where we are offering now assistance to those who are aspiring or in business as a medical mompreneur. So that's a little bit about who I am. You guys will get to know more of us here on this platform or also on social media. But we're just looking to dive into it and get started. So I'm going to turn it back over to Kiana.
Yes, let's go ahead and get started with discussing education and training opportunities that are available to you. So, starting with education, certification is a great way to not only get the knowledge that you're seeking, but it's affordable as opposed to maybe pursuing a college degree. It's definitely a fraction of that cost, and it's going to help you build your skills. So you're going to obtain that proficiency in medical billing or coding, whatever you're focused in a matter of months versus years, which is really great. And these options really help you to fast track your career. And what I mean by fast tracking is you're going to get on a route that's the quickest way to achieve your goals. Okay, so with me in particular, Biller Boss Bootcamp is my certification prep course. And again, it helps you to prepare for the certification exam and, of course, to pass. So in the boot camp, you're getting access to the AAPC CPB prep course, and that does include the CPB textbook, as well as the coding manuals. We're not necessarily doing coding, but of course, we're working with codes every day. So we do also get the code books, the current year code books, when you enroll in the boot camp. And you go through the prep course. The prep course consists of 14 chapters. It's audio visual. It includes a lot of information, including quizzes and chapter tests and a final exam to test your knowledge. In addition to that, you will get one practice exam. And then, of course, there are two additional for the billing certification exam, two additional practice exams that you can purchase. And again, another great way to prepare for the certification exam. The practice exams consist of 50 multiple choice questions that you can take an unlimited amount of time. And they're great because they're electronic and they provide you with the rationales. So you enroll in the prep course, you get the knowledge and the training that you need, you pass your certification exam, and you are now proven as being proficient in this particular area. And then in addition to that, another key piece is the actual hands-on training. So again, specifically with Biller Boss Bootcamp, you're getting actual hands-on training on how to do the day-to-day duties of a medical biller. So first you're getting that education, and then you're actually getting the training using real medical billing software and practicing all the different steps of the revenue cycle. So, once you're on the job, you definitely have a good understanding of, again, those daily duties. Natasha, you want to talk a little bit about education and training?
Yes. Thank you, Kiana. Yes, education and training is so important. So as a coder, medical coder, you do have to be certified. So you need to be certified as a certified professional coder, for example, or there's a CCS through AHIMA. But tonight I'm going to just talk about the CPC through the AAPC. And so we have to be certified to show that we know the guidelines, we understand the guidelines, we're able to communicate this information and share it with the providers, for example. And so it's really important that if you are someone that is looking to become certified, or maybe you've taken your exam and you haven't passed it, that you look into our CPC exam review. We have a CPC exam review and actually a replay available to you. It's 4 hours, so it is very intense, valuable information, but it will help you to pass your exam. And so we go over ICD-10 guidelines, CPT coding guidelines. I cover the must-knows. And what do I mean by that? So what do you need to know to pass your exam? I give you the strategies on how to pass the exam. And then also we give you 50 CPC practice exam questions with the rationales in the 4-hour review. And so that's one of our offers and programs that we offer for the CPC. Now, if you're someone that you take the CPC review exam and then say you feel like you're not ready for the actual exam, we do also have coaching available too. And so that is something that you can get if you need that in addition to. So maybe you need a refresher, then we have our coaching available. And that's a 4-week coaching program as well. But you definitely have to be certified if you want to be a coder. That is one of the differences between being a coder and a biller. Biller do not necessarily need that certification. You can go in, but as a coder, they are looking for someone that is certified.
Perfect. Okay, so once you have your education and your training, you are now ready to start seeking opportunities, right? Your medical billing and coding position. So you want to utilize all of the resources that are available to you. So I just thought of some resources that are going to be available to you. I put a little list together. So number one, and some of you who are a little bit more experienced or have already worked in the industry may feel like this is obvious, but I do get a lot of inquiries from aspiring billers who have no idea where to start. Okay, so number one, you're going to start with employment websites. So some of the more popular ones are Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Monster. If you're an AAPC member, definitely take advantage of the membership, all the perks with the membership, and one of them is their job board. They do have a job board available for their members. Craigslist has many opportunities. And LinkedIn also has a job board, and Natasha is going to dive deeper into LinkedIn in just a moment. So you want to be actively searching on these websites every day for opportunities that are being posted every day. Number two, you can register with healthcare staffing agencies. So these agencies are not just for temporary opportunities. They do assist you also find permanent employment, long-term employment, and they connect you with the employer. So there's no fee to you as an applicant. The employer covers the fees when they're working with the agencies to find them the talent. So you can register with them and stay connected with them, and they will reach out to you when they have opportunities. Number three is, again, if you're an AAPC member, you want to attend their chapter meetings. Chapter meetings can be in person or virtual, very convenient. Virtually, you can attend any chapter's virtual meeting. So definitely, log into the website and search those calendars so that you can see, which events are coming up. So you want to network with other AAPC members, other industry professionals, network with other professionals on social media. So for example, very popular are the medical billing and medical coding Facebook groups. And frequently I do see opportunities posted there and shared there. So you want to be a part of those groups and be in the know. Number 5, you can research local medical offices, clinics, hospitals, laboratories, anything medical in your area. And, you want to go to their websites, check them out, reach out to them, call them, and see what opportunities they may have available. And also network with your personal providers. So let your personal providers know, or your kids' personal providers, but any providers that let them know that you're interested in working in this industry, you're looking for an opportunity, and you never know, they may be able to connect you with an opportunity, or they may have one themselves. You never know, they may have an opening available themselves. And number 6, stay positive, okay? Because it can take time. Sometimes it does take a little bit of time to find opportunities. You don't need, 15 years of experience to get opportunities or to be eligible for these positions. You really just need that one person who's willing to take a chance. Natasha, you want to share?
Yes, I have a few to share, and thank you for the questions coming in. We're going to be addressing questions shortly. So finding opportunities as a medical coder, I get this question asked a lot, especially for someone that is new. Maybe they have their CPCA and they do not have experience. So one thing that I do want to share with you is on the AAPC website, if you are certified and a member with them, they have the AAPC Project Extern. If I can get it out. So it's called the AAPC Project Extern. And so a lot of people do not know about this. This is a great and fantastic way to actually gain real world experience. And so that a lot of times there are internships available. There are opportunities for you. So look on there, and then you'll look based off of your location. But you do have to be a member and certified to take advantage of these opportunities. Okay, so another way to find employment is through just the old-fashioned way of networking, right? I cannot stress enough, networking is so important. And you want to be networking with the AAPC local chapters, or if you're with AHIMA, for example, you need to be networking because you can connect with managers, supervisors, and just other people in general where they know opportunities are there. So there's potential job opportunities. You need to network. So go in person or virtually to these meetings and make yourself known that you are available and looking for employment. And then one of my favorite ways to find employment is LinkedIn. You want to make sure that you are leveraging LinkedIn. And so a lot of my opportunities as a health information management consultant have come directly from LinkedIn, and actually through people reaching out to me because my profile was set in place. They reached out to me, I replied back, and had some great projects through LinkedIn. So if you do not have LinkedIn, or if you have it, you want to look to get your LinkedIn to where it is optimizing and it's leveraging to be able to find those employment opportunities. There are actually networks and professionals on there, groups on there, and you can network that way. And if you are someone that needs help with leveraging your LinkedIn, I do have an awesome on-demand training available, very affordable, low cost, and I teach and show you how to get your LinkedIn set up, or as well, how to find those opportunities, right? So you may be on LinkedIn and you may not be making those connections, and I share that with you in my training. And you can find all that information on our website, ncmhealthcare.com, and we'll put all that in the chat. But those are just 3 ways. There are so many other ways. We'll continue to share more. So let me just recap really quick. I talked about AAPC Project Extern. I talked about just the old-fashioned networking, right, with your local chapters. And then number 3 is LinkedIn. Okay, so that's it for now. I'll give it back to Kiana.
Okay, perfect. So let's, I guess, start talking about a little bit of interview tips. Just a couple notes that I put down here in regards to interviewing is you have to believe in yourself. I mean, I feel like it's very obvious if you're interviewing, whether it's in person or remotely through a platform maybe like Zoom, and you're not confident. So you definitely have to, number one, even if you have to fake it, before you make it, you have to believe in yourself in order for others to. Okay, we really have to be our biggest advocates and discuss all of the amazing things that we bring to the table. Even if we don't have prior paid experience, we are investing in training and education, and that definitely counts for a lot. Okay, so rather also, and I've heard this a lot, rather than saying, you don't have experience at all or don't have experience in a particular area, just state that you haven't had the opportunity, to do that particular role, to work in that role or to perform that particular duty. You haven't had the, particular opportunity. And it's really a lack of opportunity problem, not a lack of competence. Okay. Now, if you're completely new to the industry, you may have to start out in another role. I see someone here did state in the chat that they haven't been able to get hired as a biller, even entry level. So one of my tips is definitely that you may have to start in another role. You may not have necessarily a medical biller role, but another role, possibly working in the, on the revenue cycle. So when I started my healthcare career in 1999, I was working as an emergency room registrar, and I was able to obtain that position with no prior experience at all, no prior healthcare experience at all. I was a newbie. So I was able to fortunately learn a lot of medical terminology. I met a ton of providers, different doctors. I was able to learn, of course, the codes that I was working with every day, the insurances. So don't necessarily knock another position if it isn't your quote unquote dream role or dream position, because you can learn a ton, working in other roles that will eventually help you, get to that dream position. You want to always be truthful, of course, but discuss things like you're a quick learner, you're motivated to start working right away, you're a recent graduate of, certification course or a degree program. You're excited about the prospect of using, your skills to contribute to the practice or facility, whatever type of healthcare provider you'll be working with. And again, I always stress to my students not focusing on the fact that you don't have paid experience, because you want to focus on the education, the training that you have invested in. So focus on showcasing those skills as opposed to talking about what you lack. Okay, so, talk about the knowledge and the training that you've obtained in the certification prep courses, in your degree programs, in your training courses, and continuing education classes. Definitely stress that more so than anything negative or anything that you lack, because that will, also demonstrate your proficiency in, the revenue cycle or in billing or in coding. And it does count for a lot. So especially when employers don't have the time, and I feel like that's one of the key factors why they're looking for potential candidates with experience, is because they possibly don't have the time to train. Of course, they're very busy. They don't have the time to train. They may not have, the skills themselves. If it's a manager or a supervisor doing the hiring, they honestly may not have those billing and coding skills themselves, which is really just a reality. And then lastly, I always tell my students that many medical billers are experienced, but they haven't necessarily handled all the aspects of the revenue cycle. So, and some of you may be here, you may be a medical biller that is only doing charge entry, or maybe you're only doing payment posting, or maybe you're only working on accounts receivables and making calls to follow up on things like denials. But you may be a great candidate because you have been trained and educated on the entire revenue cycle. So everything from registration and scheduling to, to AR, everything in between. You may have that knowledge and that training and, be a really great candidate and potentially know more than quote unquote experienced billers or their current employees. You just never know. So you can be an asset to that company. Natasha?
Yes, everything that Kiana has said can also be shared as a medical coder. I will also add, as a certified professional coder, you want to relay your transferable skills, especially if you are someone that's new, right? And so what do I mean by your transferable skills? So skills as it pertains to being detailed, because this is a detailed field. We are looking at codes. We have to pay attention to detail. You probably heard that a lot in your training if you've gone through that. And then also emphasize your ability to work accurately under pressure, because you do have to meet productivity, right? And so also, if you are someone new, just talk about how you went through your training program, right? And how you're able to understand the guidelines. You recently passed your exam. So that makes you very proficient to be able to know and how to share that information with providers if you have to do that, or how to find the information to code correctly. So there are ways to be able to share your knowledge and information, even if you do not have experience in your interview. And so it's very important that you practice as you, what do I mean by practice? Practice having an interview before you have the actual interview, right? So you can practice with your family, find someone, a friend, but do not go into the interview unprepared. So that will be probably why you may not actually get the job, because you're just not prepared, right? So be prepared write out some questions on what to expect and how to answer those questions. Be ready to provide a question to the actual employer, right? Do your research on the organization. It will show that you are engaged, you're in tune, and you are looking to work for them, right? So it's very important that you are prepared and you show up ready and show them that you are the best candidate and you can do the job. And so if you are new and you are someone that has the CPCA or even the CPC, I do have another guide for you. I have a how to ace your medical coding interview. And again, we'll share all that information, but continue to follow us also on social media. But I do have that available to those now. And you get about 15 questions and then 5 additional bonus questions where you can actually answer these questions. This will show you if you are ready to go into the actual interview. And so that's like one of the main things. Also, I'll just leave you with this. Know how to use your coding manuals, because you may have to answer a question in the interview pertaining to the manual. And so if they ask a question pertaining to the manual, be prepared. Bring your coding manuals with you, or ask them, do I need to bring my manuals? So it's very important to just make sure you are ready to show up and ace that interview. So hopefully those tips were helpful.
Perfect. Perfect. And yes, someone just asked if the replay will be available. Yes, after we end the live, the replay will be posted on both of our platforms at Ask the Biller and at Medical Mompreneur here on YouTube. So you will be able to watch the replay. Absolutely. And before we get to the Q&A, I will leave you with this. Do not get discouraged or distracted, because 2023 is still full of plenty of opportunities. I posted on my Instagram page about 3 days ago that results happen over time. They don't happen overnight. And it's, it's true. It's not just a cliche. You really do have to work hard and stay committed and be patient, and you will get those opportunities, okay? And the wait will definitely be worth it. Also, I always stress to invest in continuing education, because even the most seasoned billers, the most seasoned coders don't know it all. We don't know it all. We've been working both actually in the industry well over 20 years, but we don't know it all, and nobody does. It's impossible. So don't make that the reason why you delay, getting started, because what I would say is set a great foundation. So invest in that education and training, and then just get started, okay? And focus on being a forever student. If you've heard that before, be a forever student, because we'll always be continuously learning. Things are changing all the time in the industry. There are updates with guidelines and regulations with the payers and codes. So we're always learning. So definitely invest in continuing education. One thing about continuing education that I will mention is Medical Biller University. I did see someone ask about Medical Biller University in the chat. That is my monthly membership for billing and coding professionals, aspiring and experienced, and it does provide continuing education classes a few times per month. So we do meet live a few times per month for continuing education classes. And for those of you who are certified, you will earn CEUs for attending live. So those CEUs are for AAPC, AHIMA, and AMBA. Okay, so each class does get you 1.5 CEUs. So in addition to providing continuing education, it's also a great community to network with, because none of us should be trying to, get through our careers alone. We should definitely be networking with other industry professionals and finding, I always say, our billing besties and our coding besties. you want to connect with other people because you will, run into challenges, and it's just easier, to go about your daily medical billing lives and medical coding lives, having, someone there to connect with and to ask questions with and to bounce things off of. So again, Medical Billing University is the monthly membership. As she put in the chat, it is $37 per month. You can try it out for a month, see how you like it, watch all the replays. We've been having classes all year long, and you're not committed. If you feel like you want to cancel, you can cancel at any time. So Natasha, before we get into the chat, is there anything else you wanted to share?
I would just say that Medical Billing University is awesome. So if you have not got into it, you want to join it. I'm actually a member as well. And so it's a lot of valuable information like Kiana has mentioned. So definitely take advantage of all of the opportunities that are available to you. I also have a nice Facebook group. It's called Medical Billing and Coding Careers for Moms. We have over 5,700 women and moms in the group where there's a lot of valuable information being shared there. So you don't want to miss out on that. And so definitely stay connected with us on social media. Follow us because we always have some opportunities and some valuable information that we are sharing as well. So you want to dive into the questions now?
Yes, let's get into the chat. So it looks like the first question was from Janae. She says, hello, I went to school for my RHIT. I took the exam but did not pass. I want to be a coder. Do you have assistance with helping with the RHIT exam?
Great question, Janae. So right now, I do not have an RHIT exam prep, but reach out to me. I do know someone that does. We are looking to, in the future, have RHIT, RHIA exam prep. But definitely, if you're looking to take that exam sooner than later, I can share someone information with you.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. The next question, I think I did touch on this a little bit earlier. What do you do? This is from caramel_queen 504. What do you do when you have an associate degree and still not getting hired as a biller, even entry level? And I did touch on that a little bit about possibly starting out in another role. It may not be, you may not have that medical biller title, but you can work in another role that's related to the revenue cycle, which will help you give you some experience to get your foot in the door for a billing opportunity, or maybe get you promoted from within in the industry. Do you want to share anything as far as coding, Natasha, for a coder role?
So what to do, say if you have an associate's degree, not getting hired as a coder, definitely come back and listen to the tips that I shared on how you can just transition. But if you have an associate's degree, that means you have gone through a community college possibly, or maybe even a higher level education system. So I would highly recommend to reach out to those schools that you have attended. A lot of times they have career services available to you for free. So do that first. See if someone from the school you attended can help you to be able to find a position. That will be my number one suggestion.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so Ramona's here. I'm familiar with Ramona. She said, thank you, your review helped. She recently passed her CPB exam, so we were congratulating her in the chat. If anyone is seeking a CPB review class, I do have a 4-hour review class available for purchase. It is the replay from the one that was held live just a few months ago. So congrats again to Ramona.
Congrats, Ramona.
Yeah, so Charlie B's Creation says, I'm studying for my first exam. So Charlie, if you're still here, can you tell us which exam you're prepping for? But just to review, the best ways, the best resources available to you to prepare for a certification exam, of course, is the review course itself, which is going to provide you with all of the information, all the curriculum that you need that's going to be covered on the exam, the practice exams, which are great. I actually had a student email me earlier, and she said she took the exam. She didn't pass the exam. She took the exam, and she said none of the practice exam questions were on the exam. And I had to explain that, they won't be. You're definitely not going to see the practice exam questions on the actual exam, because that would interfere with the integrity of the exam and the privacy of the exam. They're not going to do that. And if that were the case, everyone would pass the exam because they would have all the questions in advance. So the purpose of the practice exams are to test your knowledge and to show you what the format is going to be like. Okay, but the practice exams are definitely not going to give you the exam questions in advance. So again, the prep courses are great. The practice exams are great. With the prep courses, you get textbooks that are included, and then review classes. Review classes are great because again, they're not meant to teach you everything in the curriculum, but they're meant to review a lot of the important topics. Okay, and you get a lot of tips, and of course, you get to possibly connect with other students who are in your same position. Did you want to add anything, Natasha?
Yes, same thing. So if you're studying for the CPC, we have our CPC exam review, replay, and also I didn't mention earlier, but we have 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 credits, 4 AAPC I'm like, and so if you need CEUs, you can get 4 CEUs for that as well. So definitely, if you're studying for your first exam, you want to look into a exam review.
Okay, I am scrolling to the next question. And it's from Lynn. Lynn says, do you have to type fast as a medical biller? I'm working on my speed in typing. Not necessarily. I don't feel that, or at least in the roles that I've worked in as a medical biller, they weren't necessarily productivity based. You weren't, being clocked as far as time. I don't necessarily feel like you have to be a fast typer, but what you do have to be is very accurate with the information, that you're typing. The data entry aspect, you want to be as accurate as possible. But yeah, continue to work on, your speed with typing, but it's not a requirement. What about for coding?
For coding, so that can vary. A lot of organizations may want you to have a typing test. So many years ago, I had to take a typing test for my coding positions just to make sure we were typing at least 45 words per minute or higher. That may have changed, but because it is a productivity role, you do have to be able to, maneuver a little faster, have so many charts coded within so many hours and so forth. So.
Okay, next question is from Nurse Colleen, RN. She says, I'm a registered nurse. Would that help or hinder me? Colleen, I don't know if you're referring to billing or coding, but either way, I think that would definitely help you in a great way. I don't know if you're familiar with Tamara. Tamara Merced she's on Instagram, she's on Facebook, marketing _ medical billing. She is a registered nurse turned medical billing business owner. Very, very successful. It has not hindered her in any way. If anything, it just makes her more marketable. And Natasha, from a coding aspect, what do you think?
Definitely will help. So there are coders who are nurses where they are looking at that clinical documentation, their clinical documentation improvement practitioners. And so because they have that clinical background and then also now the coding background, it is an added plus. And so there's a lot of opportunities for nurses coming in as coders.
Okay, next question is from Tanisha. She says, or asked rather, do staffing agencies accept medical billers with no experience except for schooling? So yes, but that is dependent also upon the employers, right? The employers are providing the staffing agencies with the requirements for the roles that need to be filled. So it is possible, that medical billers can be hired with no prior experience. A lot of medical billers actually learn on the job. They learn as they go. They're getting trained on the job. So it's not a requirement, in every single scenario that you're going to have prior experience. Next question is from Nalani Nicole. How many coding questions are on the CPB exam? Great question. So the CPB exam consists of 135 multiple choice questions, and only 10 of those are coding questions. So that could involve, looking up the appropriate codes in your coding manuals, or maybe questions on modifiers. So 10 out of 135. While we're on the topic of the exam, Natasha, you want to talk a little bit about the CPC exam questions?
Yes, on the CPC exam, there are 100 questions. It's 4 hours. And so, which is great because when I took the exam, it was 150 questions. And you have about 10 questions that is based off of a case, but everything is multiple choice. So as long as you are maneuvering within your time, and I do share all those strategies in my CPC exam review, definitely you want to purchase that if you're going to take that CPC exam. That's going to help you.
Okay, next question is from Ellen Goodman Deacon, and she states, to become an independent medical biller contractor, what would be the average working hours per day or per week? So Ellen, that is definitely going to depend on, the specific opportunity. There are a lot of varying factors when it comes to how many hours it's going to take you, to perform specific duties or, to work with a specific client. It's going to depend on, of course, the volume, the number of claims that you'll be working with, the number of providers you're going to be billing for. Depending on the payers, some payers, are a little bit more time consuming than others. Depending on the scope of work, of course. Are you going to be calling insurance payers? That can be time consuming sometimes. So it's hard to say. I can never give you, an exact number of working hours without really discussing the specifics of the opportunity. And let's see, next question is from Fee. She says, I have been certified as a CPC since 2017. I recently got my CIC thanks to free AAPC, but I'm having trouble finding an inpatient coding job without experience.
So I can provide a little bit of tips with that. So I know you said that you got your CIC, which is through AAPC, but also look at AHIMA and see if there are any opportunities on AHIMA's website. They have a job portal, and so there may be some CIC opportunities there. Also, look at some consulting firms. Look into some other type of organizations that's just not the basic hospital side to see, okay, how can you actually gain some additional experience for this inpatient coding aspect of it. And so that's what I would say. And then also just network. I'm not sure, what does your LinkedIn look like? That's another tip. And then try to maybe find a mentor or someone maybe on LinkedIn that has their CIC and just possibly connect with them to share some additional resources to help you to be able to bridge that gap.
That is a great recommendation for those of you who are AAPC members. Again, there are a lot of benefits that a lot of members are probably not even aware of, but one of them is mentorship. AAPC works with Mentor City, and you can connect with a mentor. So definitely look into that. We have a comment from Aisha King. She says, I worked in healthcare for 9 years. I worked in patient access, in outpatient surgery and the ER, and now insurance verification specialist. Can these help with being a possible candidate? Absolutely. Absolutely. What you're learning in these different roles are definitely going to relate to a billing role. You're working with, registration, you're working with codes, you're working, with the insurance companies, verifying benefits and eligibility. So absolutely, these can definitely make you an eligible candidate because they will relate to, what you're being hired to do, basically, the daily duties. These are some of the things that we're doing daily as a medical biller and some of the skills that we need. So absolutely.
And I want to add to that really quick. So since she already is working in healthcare for 9 years, reach out to the organization you're working with and let them know if you are looking to go into billing or coding. Okay, I have these skills. I'm looking to transition into one of these other roles. What is it that I need to do? How do I need to get there? Because a lot of times you can transition easily within the organization you're already working with. But you need to share that information and let them know you are interested. Get connected and start networking that way as well to see how you can actually move to another position.
Perfect. The next question is from Lady Gem. She says, what would you suggest as far as suggestions in improving your resume as a medical biller? Well, definitely for newbie medical billers, I think sometimes they forget to include their education and training. You definitely want to probably bring that to the top of your resume, especially, again, if you have no prior healthcare experience, no billing experience, you kind of want to highlight that in the beginning of your resume that you have this formal education and training, especially if it's from AAPC, a very well-respected organization. They're actually the largest healthcare training and credentialing organization for the business of healthcare. So I would say definitely highlighting that and any other transferable skills. Medical billers, we do a lot of data entry, which seems kind of simple, but it's really an important part of the job, and accuracy is key, as I mentioned before. But things like data entry, customer service skills, because we're working with patients and providers and insurance payers. So there are definitely transferable skills. They're going to be just as important no matter what industry you've worked in before. Do you want to share some resume tips, Natasha?
A few resume tips. Definitely, once you become certified, have your name at the top and right behind it, put your CPC or CPB behind it, right? You do not want the recruiter to have to search to see if you are even qualified. Have that right at the top. A lot of times your resume goes in as an applicant tracking system, so you want to have those keywords relevant to the job that you are applying for as well. And then again, just make sure you put those skills on your resume. So what do I mean by that? You went to school, everything that you learn, you need to make sure you transfer that to your resume. So put CPT, ICD-10-CM, for example, right? Whatever EHR systems that you learned in your program. Whatever you have learned, put that on your resume so it shows, and then be able to speak to that when you have that interview.
Absolutely. And again, as far as Biller Boss Bootcamp is concerned, the reason why I included not only the CPB prep portion, but also the hands-on training portion is because you'll also be learning a particular software. So you're learning, again, the day-to-day duties of a medical biller, and you're learning a popular software that is used, very widely by many billers. So like Natasha stated, list all the training, all the skills that you've learned. Let's see. Lindsay Martinez says, hello all, just reaching out to see if there are any good sources for anatomy, physiology, medical terminology courses. You want to take that, Natasha?
So any good sources? I have so many. I'm like, so are you looking to take a course or just have something in extra to review? So if it's just something to help you study and review, Quizlet is something where you can go in and they have, stuff to help you with your medical terms. For example, if you are looking for a course, oh, there's so many. AAPC, they actually offer anatomy, physiology courses, probably at an affordable price. So I would say try to look where you are going to school for your program first, and then reach outside after that. But there's so many free opportunities online too. I can't hear you, Kiana. Can you still hear me?
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you. We're going to take just a few more questions before we wrap up today's Q&A. But Janae did say, thank you so much. Please type your information to connect with you. So I did put both of our websites in the chat. Amy Montanez says, does Medical Billing University help prepare for the CBCS exam as well as the CPC exam? No. So Medical Billing University, again, it's for continuing education classes. So you're not going to get the exam courses that you need to prepare for the exam. I do include the exam review classes as a part of your membership. You have access to the exam review classes, but not the prep courses, okay, with the full curriculum. That would be Biller Boss Bootcamp for billing, and it's for the CPB exam. Okay, CBCS, I know that's with NHA, and CPC would be a different course. So billing and coding are different. They have two different certification exams with AAPC. So that would be a different prep course. Let's see. Let me just skip down to, let's take two more questions. Psyche Samuel says, I just completed my associates and feel unprepared about my CPC exam in September.
Okay, so we definitely can help you with that. We have our CPC exam review. So I know Kiana just put that information in the chat. And so it is ncmhealthcare.com. Or you can just reach out to me, send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, and I can just send you the direct link to get signed up. We have a replay, and you can watch it tonight or tomorrow. It is 4 hours, but that will actually help you with your exam. And then after that, if you feel like you still need some additional help, we do also have coaching available, so we can connect with you after that. But the first thing is do our 4 hour CPC exam review. That's going to definitely help you.
Let's see. Let's take one more. Tanisha actually says she shared a tip. She said the internet has free typing tests and gives you feedback on your effort. So thank you, Tanisha, for sharing that. Let's see. Nalani Nicole says you had mentioned something about AAPC having a section where you can check for internships. Do I just put in the search internships? I'm an AAPC member and I didn't know about all of these benefits.
Great question. So you can put in AAPC Project Extern is what it's called. It's project and then the letter X, turn, TERN, and it should be able to pop up for you. You do have to be signed in as a member to be able to find this on the site, and then you can search based off of your location for opportunities available to you.
Just wanted to give a shout out to Dr. Lisa Campbell, who
Dr.
is here with us.
Yes.
Hope all is well. Okay,
last is the expert.
Exactly. Speaking of Dr. Campbell, check out her YouTube channel, which is amazing. It's actually one of the YouTube channels that I recommend to all of my students. So definitely check out her channel. Okay, last one. Aisha, I'm studying for my CPC scheduled for October. Any tips?
Any tips in just studying in general? So, of course, you want to make sure your books are tabbed, right? You want to make sure you know where to find the information. You have read the guidelines. So it's very important that you spend a lot of time reading the guidelines, because that's going to help you for the exam, help you to be successful in passing, help you to find the information much faster, and you'll just go in feeling more prepared and confident. And so my last tip is just see yourself passing, see yourself having your CPC, right? Be positive when you go to take that exam online or in person. That is going to be one of the main differences in passing your exam.
Okay, perfect. We want to thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We don't take it lightly that you guys took the time out to be here with us. So connect with us. Again, our websites are in the chat. Our Instagram handles are in the chat. They're actually the same for Facebook. So connect with us, guys. And we wish you the very best in all of your endeavors, whether you're preparing for an exam or looking for, new opportunities. But again, as I stated before, the year's not up. We're about 3/4 of the way done. There's still plenty of opportunities and plenty of time to reach your goals as well, your education and your career goals as well. Natasha?
Yes, definitely. You got this. You already got this. So again, just stay positive, right? Do what you need to do. I tell my clients and students all the time, it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term reward. And once you get that in your mind, take the time, set your schedule, let your family know this is what I'm doing so they can support you, so you can make it happen. Then you'll be on your way. So we're here to help you to make it to the other side with resources and whatever we can do to help you. That's what we want to do. So definitely stay connected with us.
Absolutely. Have a good night, guys. Take care.